Okay, so Diana had just asked me something in the questions. It's kind of, this energy today is weird, I'm telling you. And the time and stuff, it is weird. And my hands are hurting so bad, I can't even cry. I can't do anything. And I can't find anything on, so I may as well record. But anyways, it does feel so weird with time. But there was a couple of things I want to say besides Diana's question. One of the things I keep forgetting is I started using this bentonite clay as toothpaste. And I had just been seeing about that for a while. And so I've been doing it for a couple weeks. And I have noticed that it has been taking the tea stains off of my teeth. So anyways, you know, more with the natural stuff is better for us, of course. And the other thing too, there was I'll talk about that after, because I was having this other weird conversation that I got to talk about. But first I want to talk about what Diana was talking about in the comments. And her dream, which there's so many people having these dreams, and I totally believe in our soul's communication, and it's totally crazy too, because you're so right, you know. I mean, it could totally be a past life memory. I gotta adjust this kind of. I feel like when it's sitting funky, I start tipping my head, but I start sitting funky too. And I've got to switch it back still all the time because it didn't work with that other thing. So anyways, you know, that's the thing is some of these traumas are from past lives, like these memories and these things to, you know, remind you. And that is where you got to go in and you talk to your soul and see, like, what are you trying to show me? What do you want me to pick up from this? Clarify this dream. Is this something I need to learn from, grow from? Is this a warning? What are you trying to tell me? Or ask them, are they trying to tell you that you need to move? That you need to move and go somewhere else? Because, oh my gosh, Stella, stop, okay? It's been like this all day. Yesterday, this was going, and all the dogs were out doing it. I was like, oh my gosh, is this it? Is this it? Like, are we about to have a big old earthquake or something? Because, yeah, I don't know. It was going to be this big earthquake. I have seen people saying if you're on a fault line, you know, you need to be prepared. And this earthquake, from what people are seeing, there's some kind of water event. And this earthquake is going to be like in that one with New Guinea where it was actually splitting apart, where you were two different parts, like you have to jump across. Like, it's going to be dramatic if it is going to play out like people's dreams that are showing. And what we're already seeing on the planet currently of some of these disasters that are happening. So, you know, the fault-like thing and the water thing. And you know, like I said, movies just pop, you know, when movies come to me, I'm always like, okay, so are you trying to show me something? And so this movie came to me earlier and I watched some of it, but it is, it's on, YouTube, and it's called Catastrophe. Not catastrophe, but how do you say that? Catastrophe or something like that is spelled like, it doesn't put ice catastrophe. It puts it all in together, like one word. And so it is these things coming from the sky, which are, what are those things called? Because we've got them going right now. And then that's what the news is saying is behind the sun is asteroid or something. And so in this movie that they just, I think it's new, that this ice disaster thing that happens, all of a sudden these asteroids come out and hit into the planet and start this major freeze that's really instantaneous, and all this whole water thing and stuff. And it happens right over by me in this movie. Happens over by Olympia. And I pay attention to that stuff. You know, what they're showing, where things are going to be happening, because I do think there's going to be some sort of water event. And like I said, I don't know if it's the part of this thing that's about to happen as the awakening, or if the awakening is going to happen to prepare us for the catastrophe. I don't know how, because that is what I had always thought. But now so many people are having this like feeling that this catastrophe is about to happen, the pole shift or whatever. Because I totally get the shift has to be to turn us, which is the pole shift that turns us the other direction. But I just didn't think of it as being the catastrophe. So, I don't know, but I do think for sure that we are facing some catastrophes. And I don't know where they're going to be located. It's weird is because when I was a kid, for some reason I was just really paranoid about the end. Like I was totally paranoid about it from the time I was really a little kid. And I became like obsessed with like Nostradamus, and I wanted to, listen to his things and Revelations. I would ask my mom about Revelations and stuff. And I had a plan. I thought, that was going to be like World War III would break out, we'd have a nuclear thing. And so then I just kept on thinking, well, I was just going to take, my kids in the garage with me and we'll sit out there and listen to the radio and while the car runs, that was my plan. And so now I see it as so crazy because I think some people are going to think like that's the solution when I know now what's going to go past that. That's not going to be the end. And I don't know if it is going to be, because then, a lot of people talking about the light bodies and stuff. So are we all transitioning out of this physical, but the physicality is a concept. So I don't know. This is just all so fascinating what's going on. But so I was concerned about it always since I was a kid. So I would talk about it or ask about it. And my mom told me this was probably like 25, 30, maybe even 35 years ago. She told me, because we lived over in Spokane and up in Washington, and she said, well, we don't need to worry about the end because where we're at, we're on this map that is something, the Bible map of Revelations, where it shows the places that will be safe. And I don't know if that's where the doomsday map comes from. I don't know. But that is where she had said we were in some sort of safe zone in that map over where I was in Washington State. And so then when I started hearing about Dolores Cannon, that was like around 2015 or 2016, I think. And so when I was watching her stuff, that's where I started hearing about that projected naval map. And she was talking about like these generals and stuff that were all coming in, retiring up in the high mountains in the Appalachian. And she said it was just really strange. And so she was becoming suspicious. And so this naval map shows the whole change. And then when Forbes put out the doomsday map and it matched that other map. So I don't know. I think all these maps are coming from somewhere. And I don't know, if it's calculated by the quantum computer who deciphers the rise of the water, because it's going to be abrupt. Like the way they're trying to make us think it's going to, like this slow thing is our concern. It's not going to be like that. It's going to be really fast. And then, so, I had always thought like I was in a safe place. And so then when I was moving over here, I already had the awareness of the map changing. And so I had looked on it and I thought, okay, well, where I'm at is going to be safe. Because I wanted to move down to New Orleans. And then I was like, man, New Orleans is going to be gone. And most of Louisiana is going to be gone. And so, like, how do you go and tell a whole state like that they need to go, especially if that is their soul's plan? Because that's the thing, is your soul is where it's supposed to be. You cannot run from it. You cannot, unless your soul tells you where to be. You're supposed to be where you are. Like, it will start, like, for me, like, you will have the desire to go somewhere different. But then you the energy will be directed, and so things will start opening up to redirect you to someplace else. Like the path opens. You don't have to. I always think the worst thing to do is to try and force a path. A path will open up. You'll see clearly the direction you're supposed to go, what you're supposed to do and stuff. And so I because then even when I started seeing, because I had been working on this place, and when I started seeing this new Forbes map, and it cuts even over more to where it looks like most of Washington State is going to be cut way back. And so then that would dissolve where I'm at. And so, and all these different things with the water stuff that they keep talking about, coming in with the tsunami. So when I moved here, I didn't know about that stuff. I knew there would be a water change, but I didn't know it would be as abrupt. Like I've learned more things since I first knew. Like quarantine hadn't even happened when I moved in here. I moved in here, and it was like a year later. So I thought it was a good idea to move out from the city. So that's what I was doing. Plus, financially, there was not really. I mean, I would love to live in Bellingham, right on the ocean, but it's super expensive. So, anyways, having to move out rural, and then as stuff is played out, now I see like. You want to be more rural. You don't want to be in the middle of a city when shit goes down. It's going to get chaotic. It's going to be, they want to create this dog eat dog, every man out for themselves. They want to create this purge, and they'll start it. They'll start it going with their instigators that they have on the streets and stuff. So I don't think you can run from destiny. So, I mean, if you're inside, it's telling you, you need to go, it's time to go. It's trying to give you a warning, then start asking them to open up your path, show you where you need to be, show you where you need to go. You'll start noticing, like, if you're watching something, does it keep talking about the same place all the time? Is it, somebody bringing up a certain place to you all the time? And that will help you see, like, where they're trying to move you. But if they aren't actively trying to move you, then then you're where you're at is where you're supposed to be. And that's the thing. I mean, none of us really know, because is the transition that's going to happen, is that changing, is that the moving people into the new age? Like, is that the rapture into the heavens of the new age? Or is it, like, all these things are speculation until they all start happening, because it may be the best thing to go with the water when the water comes in. That is going to be this is going to continue to dissolve, and that transition is going to be into the new age. And then other people will stay here and have to keep working and healing themselves to get to it. Like, it's hard. It's really hard to know any of this stuff. You got to trust your soul on all of it, like where you are, and stay in communication with your soul. And that gives you peace. And remember, there is no death, just like how you could go through that experience and see, even when you were in it, rather than fight to not drown and to be in fear, because that is the hard part, is that fear, is that scary part, to just go and let go of life, and, go to the next part. And so when your guidance said, take a breath, and that is, take a breath, get it over with. Come on over, join the party, and, that's what it all is. They've got us so much in anticipation and so in fear of what comes next in this transition into the next place, and anybody who thinks that they have any idea, they've already got set up, that we sound like we're crazy. But, there's just stuff that is, you just know it, I just know there is a transition that just takes you from, it's like going from one book to the next book. It's like just flipping the channels, going from one movie to the next movie. That's all it is. It's all death is just moving from one story to the next story. So, there's no, and the whole concept of pain and stuff it's what we create in our own heads. It's all stuff that we create. And anyways, so it's hard to say, being on a fault line, and then people say, like, to me, you got to be prepared. I think you got to be prepared to evacuate. You got to be prepared to be isolated. You got to be prepared for complete chaos. It's just be ready for anything, and just, keep in mind of, why it's happening. And it's scary, but I think there is going to be, like, a lot of people are going to go at once. And that is how some of these things seem to be kind of merging these timelines in with this awakening thing. So, I don't know. I will be so surprised if this whole catastrophe is the thing that wakes everybody up. I think that there's something that else is going to wake people up. But God, I seriously don't know. But I was just talking to this girl on TikTok. I was having this long conversation. She really creeped me out. And when I had seen her video, it so freaked me out. I might have already even talked about it. I don't know. I'm telling you, I'm lost in space and time. I'm in my own world. And so she was talking about, eugenics is a really good thing. It's a good plan. We need to do this. And we need to be killing people. And, we shouldn't have people who are a burden be around. And even, who decides who's a burden and who decides who's a good person and a bad person. So I'd seen her thing, and I was like, oh, man, that's creepy. Like, what has happened to people? Because this is a younger person. I don't know, probably in her mid-30s. And so I was like, God, it's just so creepy how people have, no compassion, no empathy. And to even go to the part of deciding, like, who gives you the authority to decide over life and death? That is the whole thing, is when you are of the spiritual world, then you know that there's a bigger force. There's a bigger universe, and there's a whole meaning to everything. Like there's a whole in charge kind of thing. Like you don't have to go and do it. That's what, like, Jesus, I think, was trying to get them to understand, was that you don't have to go and make things right. The universe takes care of that for you. There's an order to things, and things happen the way they're supposed to happen. And nobody needs to be deciding that. The universe has the perspective, not the individual. So it's just weird. To me, that's just strange that people think, like, that they don't see bigger. But anyways, so she responded, whatever I had said, I don't even remember what I said. I've said so many things to this girl at this point. But, and I did a few videos because she was freaking me out. Like, she was freaking me out. Like, oh my God. And, we do have such different philosophies on this planet, different ways of being. There has to be this separation in order to have peace. Like, each group deserves peace. If they want to go and play out this weird stuff that they want to play out, of taking turns over who's God, who decides over who lives and who dies, and experimenting and all the weird stuff that goes on, then that is, that group can go do it. I don't want any part of that kind of stuff. That's not what I want. So if the way into the age of Aquarius is transition out in a flood, then, I'll go by. Because this is, yuck. So she started saying, she was saying a bunch of stuff. I was going to just block her right off the bat. Once I saw she was serious and kind of just like rude, just like hateful, just seemed hateful. And so then I said something, and whatever her comeback was, all of a sudden I just saw her damage. I just saw her, just this wounded person who just, and so I was having a conversation with that person that I saw, but suddenly the person, this other being that obviously resides inside of her, took the reins, and, I just kind of laughed at me because, I said, the universe is taking care of this stuff. I'm sorry that somebody hurt you so bad that you've got, you're carrying so much hate and anger and stuff. But she just was so hateful by the end of it. Just like, well, you're not even good at debating this. I was like, I'm not trying to debate this. I was trying to be supportive because I thought you were in pain. Like, what? I'm not trying to debate you. You think this is okay. I'm not, I don't want to live in your world, but, you go do you. You think you do. I think that kind of shit would backfire on you. I think, that's the kind of stuff you believe in. Then pretty soon you're going to find you're the one that they're all pointing at that needs to go. Like, it's weirdness. And it's probably part of the reason why some of these people try and stay so young all the time, too. Like these blood drinking people, that they want to stay young because they know their time would be up. I mean, some of these motherfuckers are, I swear to God, they're several hundred years old. And not just like 115. Like they fucking look like they're ancient relics. And so, but they're going to decide that we're not worthy of life. It's like, are you even able to take steps? Like, are you just shuffling? Are people just putting you in a wheelchair and scooting you around? But even that, those people have value. Those people, like, that's the thing, is where it would start being, oh, well, the brain injury people, we don't need them. People in wheelchairs, we don't need them. We don't need those handicapped people, And that is what is going on. I mean, Canada is showing that right now. Like, that is, that is a weird way to think that would be a way to run a society, that a certain group will decide. That has been in so many scary movies where you go to some sort of village and you buy a house and you don't realize that, when you turn 49, that, the party, you don't leave. Your time's up. Is the new people are coming. They got to keep food for the new people. They don't have food for you past a certain age, and that is, or if you get sick or weak or any of that stuff, that you're just discarded. Well, not just discarded. They don't just set you out in the forest and let you starve to death. They just put you to, this ritualistic kind of thing, and then consuming of it. It's like, it's so primitive. It's so, and that is when I hear stuff like that, and I'm like, there's some souls that are not ready for this other state of being. They still need to play out some dark stuff. I mean, it's so outside of what I believe. It is hard for me to even comprehend, like, for regular people, those regular people now have jumped on to that. And that is going to be a scary thing when they're trying to set this purge up, is because there's a lot of people, and they've told them what people are discardable, and I think I have gotten on some sort of progressive FYP. I don't know, but I have seen and heard some weird shit lately. Seen and heard some real weird shit. And all it does is show me is like, oh my God, the way some of these people think. It's hard to comprehend it. Like, it's really hard. I don't know if it's just programming, if it's just being broken, if they're just playing their part. Like, I don't know. We're not going to be able to figure out everybody's thing. But, there really is a universal action happening, a hand of God, the changing of the ages. Everything is changing. We don't have to do anything, just like we don't have to wake anybody up. They already are going to wake themselves up when they're supposed to. Like everything is happening the way it's supposed to happen. And even if, this is any of our time to go, there is a purpose, there's a reason to that. And so it's important for none of us to fear what is happening. And, but you got to listen to your guides. Like if they're telling you that you need to move or go somewhere else, because I swear, when I did move over here, I did have it in mind. I just didn't know to the extent. But like right now, the stuff, even what I hear about with Florida, Florida is going to be underwater too, but New York, like I would have a hard time wanting to stay in New York. Like I would move, but, and see, to me, that would be the universe keep bringing me that information to, provoke me to be like, I got to get the hell out of here. And I don't know if that is what they've been doing to me here, because I keep telling them, like, if I'm supposed to be going, you all need to open up the path, because I don't know. And, the only thing to me that, because I mean, seriously, where I'm at, we have a real problem with the evacuation. Like, there's a lot of problems with where I'm at, too. And I'm not high enough in the mountain. And then plus, if they're going to do landslides in the mountains are going to be sliding down, covering us down here below anyways. So, like I'm saying, like, there is no, like, you could think, oh, well, that would be a safe place. But you don't know what all they're going to pull out of their hat, what all things are going to go down. So you could be leaving the safe place and going into a worse place. And so that's why it's super important to really get in touch with your guidance, and then you got to come to peace with it. You can't just keep questioning yourself and questioning yourself. And to me, I'm just to the point where, whatever's going to happen is going to happen. And it's tense. Like, especially like while all this is happening, like the chaos that is all around, it is intense. The colors are weird. The sounds are weird. People are weird. Like everything is so weird. Like they're waiting. It's like, it's like the rubber band is pulled back and we're just waiting for it to pop. So, I feel the tension. And I oftentimes I'm wondering, is there going to be like me trying to run for my life, trying to save Stella? Are we going to be drowning? Like, ugh. My guides are very much about, like, they can't just tell you every single thing, because some things just have to play out, And, we came for this, even though it doesn't seem like it, because it seems awfully fucking scary. Like, why would I put myself through this? This is horrible. But, just keep on, to me, I just have to remind myself all the time. There's nothing to fear. There's nothing to fear. Nothing can really hurt us. It's all an illusion. And this transformation is necessary, and there's nothing we can do about it. Like, and for us to have come for this, obviously, it's going to be something incredible. But that there is, there's no escaping the inevitable. There's no escaping destiny. It's, it's just how it's going to play out. And I'd seen some more stuff. I think while I recorded a couple things, like that girl was really freaking me out. Like, to see how some people think and say. The other day when I was seeing like comments on Twitter, seeing this View interview, seeing what those weird ladies are putting out there, and deforming information and messing with people's minds and stuff. And then, talking to a family and seeing how they've just, kind of become warped in their thinking and their behaviors. So, I don't know. I just know this all has to go down. I just wish it would hurry up and get over with, because the tension of waiting you know. And I don't know. I have heard that there is some kind of thing over with the fault line over there too. So in Illinois or whatever. So I don't know. There is like, I have thought about this and thought about this and thought about this over, I think, a year and a half. And I seriously can't think of anywhere that you could go where you'd just be 100% safe. Like, I don't think that that is possible right now. I think we all came here to experience certain things, and we're going to have to experience it, and we don't know what it is, and we just have to trust that it's going to be okay when we go through it. So, just don't feel alone. I think there's so many of us who feel the same kind of like, I can let go. It's the buildup, it's that, trying to not take that breath that builds that tension of fear. And that is what we're sitting here all waiting for, the glass ceiling to break, for everything to rush in on us and show us everything. And I really kind of just hope that it is going to be all of this just a flood of information that is going to be so overwhelming to people that energy is what is going to put it out, and people are going to heal. And then, I'm hoping that before this cataclysm and thing happens, that the government, the better half of it, starts telling us, to prepare and safe places to go. So, I don't know, it's just all for us to see, so I swear to God, I wish it would just hurry up. I wish it would just hurry up, happen this week, so we can, move past it wherever we are, and whatever we're doing. And, but I think, I swear, I really think that it is, I don't know, we gotta see, who's gonna be transitioning. But I really, really think it is people who are gonna be low vibration, people who have given up, people who just don't want to go on. It's too hard. that they're the ones who are gonna be leaving. But I don't know. We just gotta see. But yeah, just keep I swear to God, it's just trying to keep a good attitude, and trying to remind yourself that everything is gonna be okay, that there's nothing to fear. That's all we can all do. So anyways, I have anything, I'll come back in the morning, even though I keep talking and talking, but there keeps being these things that are triggering, like that give me some sort of thing, like I need to say or something. And these people pushing, like, because it's not just that they're all about, yes, we need to discard fetus, like all of it. Like, it's just such a different way of looking at life. I look at life as a gift, as an opportunity, and there's other people who look at it as a punishment. And that is the difference in victim and empowerment, and that all comes from healing. So anyways, there's a lot of these people with this dark attitude, because this girl thinks like she's more of the light, like she wants to get rid of the dark. But it's like, that's what I'm saying, is some of these people are of the dark and they don't realize it. I just told her, well, after this long conversation where I think I'm making headway into her feeling supported, and then she comes and starts being like, well, LOL, you're not even a good debater. Guess you needed to tell me we were debating here. I didn't know. And but I'm certainly not gonna sit and debate somebody over their opinions. Like, she told me, my opinion didn't matter. She didn't ask me. I was like, I didn't ask you about your opinion either. I'm commenting on, that I don't remember what I said. It wasn't. I'm not very, rude to people. Like, I don't have that kind of thing, I don't have people coming in where I'm arguing and bullying, doing these things back and forth with people, because it goes on a lot of accounts. Like they get in these fights all the time with people. I don't sit and fight with them. I try and point out other things like, the universe is changing and stuff. And she's like, well, that's great that you think you know stuff. I'm like, well, it would, there's people who don't know. They're completely cut off from their souls. They have no idea. They're just angry and bitter and outraged, and, and how much of it is coming from the MK Ultra shit that they're doing. There's studies where they've been busted now, too, with testing on whole communities. There's a study I just saw somebody talking about. It was in New York, and they were putting this subliminal message out over these radio things on top of buildings, and then they were watching the people because it was saying, nobody could hear what it was saying, but it was going into people's heads. Turn around, somebody's following you. And then they watched them all on camera as people would turn around and look. I'm telling you, that's all we are to them. We're all sitting here thinking we're trying to do something, trying to become successful, trying to live this dream of, having it all. And, they're just testing and experimenting on us and playing games with our head and our minds and our soul. And anyways, so I'll be back in the morning. I'll talk to you later. Bye.